I ended up getting out the car.
We had this bright green Fiat Panda
Halfway down the road.
Driving around Macclesfield.
Because I don't think she can drive.
With drum and bass blaring out of it.
Welcome back to No Ordinary Life, where ordinary people like Gavin.
Okay.
Julie. Anne. Andy.
Push that back.
April.
Okay.
Susanna.
It's really funny.
Spencer. Sarah. And B.
I'm just painting pictures.
Talk about their extraordinary lives.
Did I learn to drive?
I did learn to drive.
What was my first car?
Yes. My mum tried to teach me manual.
The first car that I ever had
My first car.
I ended up getting out the car.
was a Volvo
Halfway down the road.
This is quite a funny one.
244 DL, I think it is.
Was given to me by my sister.
The old tank.
I don't think she can drive. Still don't.
Leave a comment below.
My first car was It was a bright green Fiat Panda.
It was a big tank.
Ford Focus. With a semi-soft top roof that used to fold forward.
And it was avocado green.
Baby blue.
And I was a bad man.
And I passed my driving test when I was 17.
I think I was 19 at the time.
And there's a Jamaican flag where the Volvo symbol should be a little Jamaican flag.
Yeah, I just had my son, so I was 20 actually. That was my very first car.
My first car...
I had a job as a receptionist at the Crystal Palace Driving School.
...was at Lawston.
So I had free driving lessons.
Which lasted about 6 months.
John was my instructor and he took me on my test.
Because the underneath proved to be quite rusty.
Which I failed.
So I took it back to the shop. I say shop, the garage they got it from.
Undue attention at the crossroads.
Traded it in.
And cutting corners.
For a brand new.
And I've never driven a car with a licence since.
Volkswagen, a Beetle.
Oh, I never drive. I ride a motorbike.
I never wanted a Beetle.
And also I don't really need a drive.
I thought they were the ugliest cars going.
Leaving a small island.
It had a little bit of prestige.
Back then there's no car or motorbike so much.
The fact that it was a brand new car.
I don't know how to drive.
Even if it was quite an ugly one.
My first motorbike.
But I can drive and I probably know more about what goes on under the bonnet of a car than most people.
It was my mum, actually. It's Honda.
I've never owned a car myself, but when I was married...
Honda Dream, yeah.
I've had 4 marriages.
Yeah, it was easy. It's the crush.
And number 1...
Yeah, I loved it. I drive to school.
We didn't have a car. I got married in Canada.
I had to train volleyball after, so...
Number 2, we had a Mini.
Basically not my parents had 2.
Number 3, various cars.
Then I can have one of them.
Mostly Mercedes, I think.
Yeah, love them.
And number 4, we had a Citroen.
Yeah, love like riding motorbike. Yeah.
No, I've never driven, but I've always had cars because I've always been the money earner.
Stay tuned.
What adventures did I get up to in my first car?
And I go around corners too fast and it would...
A lot of adventures.
We just go to a waterfall somewhere.
Tip over on the side. Oh, I loved it.
The police stop you, goes, "Is this your car?" So you go, "Yeah." "You sure?"
The gear stick was like in the dashboard.
I'm not going to tell you anything about backseat adventures.
The conversation continues.
My first car was a sky blue Morris Minor.
I never learnt to drive.
Which I bought off my father because he was changing his car.
I'm 40 now and I have never driven a car legally.
Kept that for a while.
I once got behind my mother's van.
As I got a bit older, I thought, well, I want something a bit more adventurous.
And drove it round the cul-de-sac.
So I had a...
She, I think, was...
Triumph Herald convertible.
Trying to get me interested in driving.
And I thought there was the bee's knees in a soft top. There seemed to be a lot of soft top cars around in Swansea at that time.
But I never learnt to drive. I've always lived in cities.
Bit of a convertible city.
Where I've never had to drive.
Then I had a black MG midget.
I lived in Christchurch, which had a good public bus transport system.
With me through my...
I lived in Wellington, which is the capital city, which has a really good public transport system.
early 20s.
Everywhere else I've lived has always had a good public transport system.
What's your story?
I did learn to drive.
I passed my driving test.
I passed my test at the third try.
So it was like,
Partly with the driving instructor.
One of the first people to get a car.
And partly with my dad giving me lessons in my mum's 2CV.
Bright green Fiat Panda.
Dolly, white with green wings.
But the deal was...
And the roof sort of folded back.
That my sister would give it to me.
And it had, I don't know what they call, but the gear stick was like in the dashboard and it was like an umbrella.
So long as I didn't take the stickers off the window.
And I'd go around corners too fast and it would...
Which said, Kermit the non-mean green machine.
Tip over on the side. Oh, I loved it. I loved driving that car.
We had this bright green Fiat Panda driving around Macclesfield with drum and bass blaring out of it.
But my first car...
And 5 guys going up
was
in the hills. It was always quite funny.
A Peugeot 205.
The non-mean green machine.
A red one.
Subscribe and ring the bell.
What adventures did I get up to?
What adventures did I get up to in my first car?
Oh, we go quite far.
A lot of adventures.
I have a motorbike.
Parties, mainly.
All of our friends have a motorbike.
Dropping my son off to his dad's to babysit.
Weekend, we just...
But it was mainly
go to
parties,
a waterfall somewhere.
And work.
I'm not going to tell you anything about backseat adventures.
Like they can go from Sutton to Songkhla.
It meant going to the beaches on Gower.
Which take about 3 hours.
Whenever I could.
We plan to go to the waterfall so we can jump in the water.
Still do love the Gower beaches and love swimming in the sea.
And just like have some lunch there.
A lot of my memories are sort of driving home in the evenings, summer evenings, after days on the beach.
Because usually they had the restaurant nearby and we just like spend all day there basically.
Sometimes on my own, sometimes not. And I think we'll draw a discreet veil over what happened afterwards. Again, like all people, having a car...
My first car did mean freedom to me.
Opens up...
Before I could drive...
Possibility for you, you can go where you want.
In them days, back in the day, yeah?
And before I had a car...
Anyone could get in a car and drive it. Do you know what I mean?
I was stuck in a small town.
With no cameras, and the police were really friendly.
With very limited public transport.
The police were friendly. They go...
So if I wanted to go out anywhere, I had to rely on somebody else or find the money for a taxi, which was quite a lot of money.
The police would stop me and go, is this your car? So I go, yeah. You sure? Yeah.
It did mean I had the freedom to do my own thing a bit more.
All right, well, you deliver, you show us your driving license.
Go places.
And you just drive off.
Yeah, and just see a bit more of the world.
Next time.
In the 80s, fashion was fashion.
That was very fashionable, me.
Trainers and tracksuits, couldn't go wrong.
I was very much into charity shopping.
Mary Kwan started things off.
Everyone would be wearing it.
Flower power.
I'd be wearing hot pants suits in the day.
I wasn't a peacock.
And then long gold lame dresses at night.
I always wanted the best trainers.
If you could do anything you want, but you had to walk with style.
No ordinary life. Thank you for watching.
Yes, I do believe in forgiveness. The reason being that I think negative thoughts, they sap up your energy. I think it's far better to be able to forgive.
Subscribe to keep the conversation going. And don't forget to ring the bell.